With the 28th overall pick, the Los Angeles Chargers made, in my opinion, a very good selection by taking Jerry Tillery out of Notre Dame. He's a tall player at 6'7" and 285 pounds, and he's a really talented player, and let's just jump into what I think makes him so good. Like, first, let's take this play from the game when they were playing against Michigan. Here's what's going to happen. Basically, the way this is going to work for Michigan is they're going to actually be double-teaming Tillery here, and then their left guard will move up to block a linebacker. So really, Tillery's going to probably get taken out of play here since he is going to get double-teamed. That's the whole point of a double-team. It's very easy to get moved in a certain direction, and so Michigan is going to try to move Tillery to the top half of the screen because they want to get him as far away from this play as possible since it is going to be a run to the bottom half of the screen. But one thing you'll notice right off the bat actually has nothing to do with Tillery, and it's going to be that Notre Dame's edge rusher does a fantastic job of disrupting this play. Look at how far he's able to run to the right side, he's able to get to the inside of the tackle, and now he's disrupted the play. But also notice Tillery here, and it's actually kind of hard to see him, and the reason for that is because 51 right there is doing a pretty good job of blocking him. He's in pretty good positioning right here to continue pushing Tillery to the top half of the screen, and typically most defensive tackles in this type of situation, that this would just be the end of the play for them, because, you know, against this positioning, there's not really much you can do. But watch how Tillery is able to take advantage of the fact that his edge rusher did a good job, get off its block, and still make this tackle. I personally wouldn't even say Tillery made the best play on this one. I would say the edge rusher, he was the real MVP of this play, but Tillery did a great job of doing cleanup duty, essentially, taking advantage of the fact that his teammate made a good play, and then being able to get into the play. I mean, really, the fact of the matter is, being a defensive lineman, a lot of it is teamwork more than anything. Yes, there will be certain situations, especially if you're an edge rusher, where you will just have a one-on-one matchup, and if you can win your one-on-one matchup, then you can have a big impact. But, you know, football is a team sport, and especially in the running game, you do often need all four of your defensive linemen to be doing a good job of just doing that, of doing their job, making sure they can be successful, and right there, that's exactly what happened for Notre Dame. There's also this next play, where what they're going to do is send an interior lineman to the bottom half of the screen. However, that interior lineman is not Tillery. Tillery is in fact right there on the edge. And that is one thing I do like about Tillery. He does have a decent amount of versatility, and you know, they're probably going to need some good versatility on that Chargers defensive line because they do run a 3-4 and they do like to mix things up from time to time. And really, I mean, versatility just works always. I mean, it's always good to have guys who can be successful in multiple different positions and multiple different techniques, and Tillery absolutely can. But okay, so his job is pretty simple here, right? Just run straight into the right tackle, push the right tackle as far back as possible, then the interior lineman will run around the tackle and get to the quarterback. That's his job here. And that's what he's going to do. As you see, he pretty much just allows the left tackle to get good hand placement on him. If you're a tackle, I mean, that's pretty much as good of hand placement as you can ask for. Tillery doesn't really care that much because his sole job is to just push that tackle to the top half of the screen, but look at how he's able to do exactly that. I mean, that's such a huge push, and you know, if the play lasted a little bit longer, that could have definitely been a sack. That was just a great job by Tillery. That's kind of where his size comes into play, and you know, he's not even the biggest guy at 295 pounds, but being 6'7", it's very tough to push a guy like that around. That's probably the number one thing you will hear people talk about him when he did get drafted, is the fact that, you know, he's a 6'7" defensive tackle, he's a big guy, he's a strong guy. That's what kind of his selling point in a lot of ways. I mean, I would actually say one of his biggest negatives is just the fact that he doesn't use his strength more. It seems like he does kind of keep a high pad level often, and he won't use his strength as much. Those are a couple of nitpicks I have with him. But another thing I like about him is awareness. Awareness is something that I always talk about. I always beat the drum about. You have to know what's going on around you, and Tillery knows what's going on around him. Like on this play, Tillery is actually going to get double teamed here right at the top half of the screen, and since it is a passing play, it's going to be very tough for him to get into this play. However, one other interesting thing is happening. If you take a look at that other interior lineman, he's actually going up to the top half of the screen despite going one-on-one against a left guard, which is definitely kind of interesting. You don't want to do this because now that quarterback can simply just run in between the left guard and left tackle. I mean, in fairness, the edge rusher on the bottom half of the screen could run over and try to get into this play, but it would be a tough play for him to make. So there definitely is a gap for that quarterback to run through, and he is going to try to run through it. But notice how Tillery is aware here. He's going to end up running up and making this tackle, despite the fact that he really was kind of far out of this play. He really should have had no business of getting into this play. I mean, many of interior linemen just absolutely would not have gotten into that play. They would not have been able to make a move on that one, but Tillery was aware. He realized what was going on, and that's how he was able to make that play. This one's another example. This time it's just a one-on-one matchup. He's going against that right guard right here, and notice what's going to happen. He's going to try to use his strength here. However, he didn't really go about this in the best way. For one thing, another nitpick I do have with him is that I feel like he doesn't often utilize his hands as much as he actually should. It does seem like he will very often just let his assigned man get good hand placement against him, and that's not smart. That's not something you want to do. You want to use your hands. You want to use every tool you possibly can use. You know, it's something for him to work on, and I do think that he probably will work on it. That's one of the advantages of being a rookie, is you have time to work on things. But anyways, now that he's not in really a great position to be trying to win his one-on-one matchup here, notice what he does. First off, he sees that there's pressure, so he's going to kind of put his right arm up right there. See how he's basically just getting in the way in case there is going to be a passing play. He can knock it away. From there, he creates some contact with the quarterback, and in part helps leading to that being an incomplete pass along with the other pressure in that play. So, you know, he did get beat. That was something that happened, but also, hey, You gotta give him some credit where credit is due. He made sure that he was able to reach over and at least help disrupt the play to a degree. The fact of the matter is, there are going to be times when you get beat. Every player gets beat from time to time, but he did a very good job on that one of, even though he did get beat, still found a way to positively impact the play. As a coach, that's kind of all you can really ask for, is someone that's going to keep trying to find a way to positively impact the play. Sometimes you do get beat, but still finding a way to have some positive benefit. One more thing I should probably mention about Tillery is, while yes, it is true that he will oftentimes be a little lackadaisical on getting great hand placement, part of the reason for that is because, well, he doesn't really have to get good hand placement to win his one-on-one matchup. Like, as of here, he's going to be going up against the right guard, and what the right guard is going to do is basically punch him with his right hand. Essentially, he's going to try to grab Tillery's left wrist. However, look at how he just basically bounces his wrist right off because of his strength and because of his length. Even with the fact that he decided to not initiate that contact, the fact that he is 6'7" can really be beneficial. Because yes, he didn't initiate the contact, but because he has such a long reach, it's very easy for him to get out of those situations. And he also has a strength that even without his left arm firmly planted onto the guard, he's still able to use his right arm to push the guard significantly far back, and then when the quarterback tries to run up forward, he can get a sack out of it. So that's how he can be beneficial in these one-on-one matchups. But let's talk again about some of these, teamwork type situations of will he know his role and will he know where he has to be. And this one's a good example because he does do this very well. That's where he is on the screen, and he is going to be going in that direction. And just so you know, that Notre Dame player is actually going to be dropping back in the coverage. So this is just a 4-man rush despite having 5 men on the line. The idea behind that is to create some confusion. That really didn't happen too much, but that's not why I'm bringing it up. Really, take a look at that edge rush right there. What is he doing? Well, obviously, he's going to run around to the edge. That's what he's supposed to do there. He's going to try to run in that direction and see if he can get to the quarterback. Meanwhile, the edge rusher on the top half of the screen is actually going to do something different, where he's going to be running to the inside of that tackle, which is a little bit risky because you're giving up containment. But if you can pull it off and do it quick enough, then all the quarterback can really do is run up in the pocket. So that's where Tillery comes in. And keep in mind, Tillery is actually trying to run to the right side of that guard, not to the left side of that guard. So this is actually not a great situation for him. However, he's smart and he understands what he's supposed to do here. With all the momentum going to the right side of the screen, well, that also means that the guard's momentum is also going to be going to the right side of the screen. So Tillery times this perfectly. Timing is very important. You have to know exactly when to stop and when to get to the left side of the screen, but he does it perfectly and gets a sack out of it. Again, I know some people might say, well, wait a second, everyone won a one-on-one matchup. He just got kind of lucky in the fact that the quarterback happened to run in his direction. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of my point. It's very rare that you'll see a sack where it was just one guy winning the one-on-one matchup and every other defensive lineman didn't do their part at all. That happens actually very rarely. It will happen from time to time, but it's not common. But what happens way more frequently is when several guys win their matchups and then someone is able to take advantage of that by actually finishing and getting the sack, and Tillery did a great job of finishing on a lot of those plays I've showed. It's understanding your role and also just understanding what the situation is and being able to have an impact, and this one's another example where that's where he is on the screen and his job is to run right there. Because in theory what'll happen is that the left guard and left tackle will both double team Tillery, and then the edge rusher on the bottom half of the screen can run over to the top half of the screen of that guard, and hopefully he can get untouched to the quarterback. And if you notice, it was a perfect job. The guard did notice, okay, we have to get over here and make sure we're blocking Tillery. But also, if you notice, Tillery is actually doing a pretty good job of pushing that tackle to the bottom half of the screen and to the right side of the screen. You might be saying, well, so what? He's double teamed, his play is relatively over, right? But no, it's not at all, because that guard actually has two choices here. He could just continue blocking Tillery like he's doing now, or he could just get off that block and go over to block number 9. Those are his two options on this play, and he is actually going to go over to block number 9. So because of this, since Tillery was pushing the tackle so far to the bottom right hand corner of this screen, this now means that once the guard gets off his block, nobody's blocking Tillery and he has a straight shot right to the quarterback. Again, that's just knowing your role, because the guard pretty much had no opportunities there. That's just good fundamental football mixed with good talent. Yes, of course, the first thing is that it is just a good play that he is strong enough to push a tackle all the way to that side of the screen. But also the fact that he knew he should do that, because then the guard had no choice. Either he was going to have to make sure that he blocked Tillery and keep him out of the way, or he moves over, and in fairness, there was a halfback in the way who could have maybe made a block if he didn't move over. However, it's hard to exactly know where the halfback is, so it's just a tough situation if you're a guard. Obviously, in hindsight, he should have made sure he stayed with Tillery, but it's a hard decision. One last play to show you, it's going to be a one-on-one matchup against the left guard. However, this time he is not going to let that guard initiate the contact. He's going to be the one initiating contact. With his long reach, he should do this far more often, because if you notice, his right arm is going to be closer to the bottom half of the screen than that left guard's left arm. It's on the left side of his shoulder, essentially. So in doing this, he'll easily be able to throw that guard off to the left side of the screen and get to the right side of the screen. But after he does that, there's another problem forming, and it's kind of one of those good problems to have, kind of, but it is still a problem. His good buddy number 9 over there is trying to get through the same gap that he's trying to get through, and they're actually going to run into each other. But Tillery is still going to have the strength and the balance to stay on his feet and make the sack. Again, just another great play from Tillery. I mean, he makes some highlight reel plays look routine. He is a very talented player. They already have a great defensive line, so adding what could be another good defensive lineman to that defensive line could make it an elite one. So personally, I like the pick, and we'll see how it works out.